Before I begin this video, I just want to say if you are triggered by certain topics, then this video is probably not the one for you. I have other content on my page that is a lot more lighter, so if you are interested in that, then go ahead and check that out. But I just want everyone to be safe and just know that we're going to be talking about things such as depression, anxiety, postpartum, and eating disorders. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is JC and I make videos all about lifestyle and mom life. In today's video, I wanted to get a little bit more open, a little bit more raw, and talk about mental health, specifically postpartum. My goal is that if you guys watch till the end of this video, I want you guys to take away some of these tips and tricks on how to deal with postpartum anxiety or depression. I also want to be there as a support for you guys to know that you are not alone and there's a whole community of us who just want you to succeed. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this video. Before I begin with the here and now, I wanted to kind of talk about my mental health backstory because I feel like it's important. I have been struggling with my mental health since I was probably about 10 years old, so super young. I battled with anxiety for as long as I can remember. My earliest memory of me going through some type of anxiety was literally kindergarten. But then as we all know, life happens, things happen, so my anxiety kind of transformed into depression and anxiety. And then around that time, I was becoming a teenager, so puberty, and so I was struggling with my self-confidence, my body image, all that good stuff. I was also being bullied at the time. So in turn, I developed some unhealthy habits and I struggled with an eating disorder from probably around 12 or 13 years old all the way until now. I still struggle with eating disorder behaviors and I have to kind of watch myself because it's very easy for me now to fall back into those habits. So that all brings us back to the here and now. Surprisingly, while I was pregnant, I actually had the best mental health in my life for those 9 months. Of course, when I found out, everything was kind of unexpected, crazy. But after I got past that little certain point, I really honestly had the best mental health I've ever had. Then once I had the baby, that lasted for a good maybe week after. And then slowly and steadily, I started feeling the old thoughts creep back in and I started feeling myself kind of going down the rabbit hole. And yeah, now I definitely feel like I'm full force dealing with all of that. I have been struggling with really bad panic attacks recently to the point where they almost make me feel like I could pass out, throw up, all that kind of good stuff. Also, trigger warning, I've recently had some thoughts of like not wanting to be here, wanting to myself sometimes, and that's not good. So I've really been trying to fight through that because what really keeps me going is knowing that my baby needs me. I am a single mom, the dad's not in the picture. So for me, I just remind myself that, you know, I'm the only parent that he has, and so I really need to step up and get this under control because he needs me. To be honest, I kind of thought I was clear from the postpartum depression and anxiety just because my pregnancy, I had the best mental health at that time. And I was super surprised that I had good mental health while I was pregnant, considering the fact that my pregnancy was super rough. This was my first pregnancy and I was considered high risk, and all my future pregnancies, if I ever had more kids, are going to be high risk as well. I have a uterine deformity. It's called a bicoordinate uterus. I'm not a doctor. I don't know the medical stuff. So if you want to learn more about that, just research it. But basically, my uterus is not shaped in the correct way, I guess. This means that my baby had less space in the womb to grow. When you have a uterine deformity, there's always a risk of miscarriage. There's also a big chance of having your baby preterm and early. Another common thing is some of the people that have these kind of uterus are infertile, so luckily I was actually able to have kids and I'm super blessed for that. I had a high risk doctor that I visited from out of town and I truly loved her. I really do believe that she's the reason that I was able to have such good mental health because I knew I was being taken care of. All right, go ahead and just itch yourself right now. While I was pregnant, I did have some other issues and complications as well. I'm gonna put a timestamp on the screen real quick because I'm gonna be talking about vomiting. I know some people are really iffy on wanting to hear people talk about vomiting and stuff like that. So if that's you, skip to this little time screen right here. I threw up from the first trimester all the way until literally I had my baby. I actually lost 15 pounds while I was pregnant and I had to regain that. I ended up having to go to the hospital twice because of dehydration and the baby's heart rate was messed up because of that. So I had to get fluids, all that crazy stuff. I also was not able to work during this time because my job before was a fast food company, and if you can imagine working at a fast food place while you're nauseous and throwing up, not a good combination. I also struggled with my heart rate during pregnancy. I wear a Fitbit that has a heart rate monitor, so I know my usual resting heart rate is anywhere between 60 to 70, but while I was pregnant, it jumped up to about 90 to 115, and this was at rest, so anytime that I would get up, let's just say I walked from my room here to the kitchen, it would go up sometimes to 100 160, 170. I was having heart palpitations. I was feeling dizzy, out of breath, barely could do anything. So I was basically put on bed rest for a long time. I did end up having to go to a cardiologist and wear a heart monitor, do all these tests, which was super scary. But luckily there was nothing wrong, and they just said it might have been a pregnancy thing, and they told me when I delivered the baby it would probably go back down. My heart rate actually did go down within 1 hour of delivering the baby. It went from like 130 to literally 70. It was crazy. But since my heart rate was high, since I was throwing up, since I wasn't working, I was very isolated during the pregnancy period, and that is why I'm really surprised that my mental health was as good as it was. So I don't know what was going on. So I just really thought that I was just immune to postpartum depression and anxiety. So it was a very big shock when about a week after giving the baby, you know, I went from everything's fine to why am I feeling like I don't want to be here? Why am I feeling sad? Why am I having panic attacks for no reason? And I honestly felt really bad about myself because I know there's a lot of stigma about postpartum depression and anxiety. I feel like a lot of the times moms are just expected to have everything together. We're expected to be very strong, and we're expected to be there for everyone else. And sometimes that means that we ourselves get pushed aside. I especially felt the feeling of being pushed away and like I didn't matter because I went from a high-risk pregnancy, so I was constantly being checked on. I was constantly having people ask how I was doing, checking on me, things like that. And so to go from that to having the baby and no one asks about me, no one checks on me, they all want to know about the baby and not really ask about me, I did kind of feel a certain way about that, and I think it definitely contributed to some of these feelings that I've been having recently. If any of you at home can relate to any of this, I just want to say that I love you all. First off, you are doing amazing, and I want you guys to know that this channel right here is a safe space. I'm not afraid to talk about these big scary topics that sometimes people are afraid to talk about. I'm not afraid to be real and show the realistic behind the scenes of things that might not look so pretty, but that is real life. I'm a real person, you at home are a real person, and I don't like all the fake stuff, so I like to be as real as possible here. That is pretty much my pregnancy story and my mental health revolution. Starting a mental health revolution. So now I want to talk to you guys about some things that I have been doing that has really been helping my anxiety and my depression a little bit. But before I begin, I do want to say that these tips are not just like a one-fix-all solution. Some of these things that I'm going to mention might work for you, some of them might not. Really just take what you think resonates and leave what doesn't. And if you also have your own tips that you want to share, then please feel free to comment them in the comments below so we can all help and support each other. So the first thing that I have been doing is I went back to counseling. I took a break while I was pregnant because, like I said, I didn't need it at the time, but then definitely after I had the baby, I needed to go back. Personally, I felt a lot of shame on needing to go back to counseling. It was definitely super hard for me to text her and make my first initial appointment back. But after I got past that initial anxiety and just bit the bullet and texted her, I'm really glad that I did. Counseling can be really scary, but it can also be super rewarding at the same time. If you've never been to counseling before, I highly recommend it if you can afford it or if you have good insurance that will cover it. I really do like my counselor that I have right now. I'm surprised she hasn't kicked me out yet though. Believe it or not, when I go into her office, I get extremely shy and awkward. So she always tells me she feels like she's pulling at strings to get me to talk. So I'm thankful that she hasn't gave up on me and we're finally making progress. So that's a win. So yeah, if you haven't tried out counseling, I highly suggest that for tip number 1. Tip number 2 is to try to make time for yourself as much as you can. Sometimes it can feel like you don't have time to take care of yourself because you're busy
taking care of your baby, making sure the house is in order, taking care of your family.
And it just feels like, you know, you're your last priority. But really, we need to make sure that as moms, we are our first priority, because if we are not taken care of, then we cannot properly take care of anyone else. And that is the biggest lesson that I have to learn. And I'm still trying to implement that in my brain a little bit. Taking care of yourself doesn't have to be some big self-care routine. It can even be the little things, just by making sure you're drinking enough water, trying to get in as much sleep as you can. I know it's hard, but try to get enough sleep. Okay. It can also be something simple like putting on a nice outfit even if you're not going anywhere. It might sound a little crazy, but there's just something about putting on a nice clean outfit and just makes your whole day feel better. Even if you're not going anywhere, you just feel more productive and more happy and like you're taking care of yourself. If you're somebody like me who feels good after doing their skincare and makeup, then try to make time for that as well. I usually try to do all that while my baby's napping or when he's really happy in the morning, or I sometimes will have like my parents watch him for a second just while I do that. Just making time for myself, whether it's 5 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, just that little bit of time really helps you connect back with yourself and feel like you can tackle the day. My third tip is to try not to forget about the things that you love. What I mean by this is if you have any hobbies that you used to do before you got pregnant or had the baby, but you haven't done them in a while, get those hobbies back out and start doing it. If you have a toddler and it's something that they might be interested or could do as well, you can also make it a family activity, so that way you don't feel like you're neglecting your family time, but you're also getting to do something you love with the people that you love. I personally like to paint, so I actually put it on my vision board right here that I want to do more paintings this year, and I want to add 4 new paintings to my painting wall. But whatever hobby that you have, I really recommend just trying to pencil in some time each week to do it. Taking some time out of your day to practice your hobbies will really help you feel less stressed. I know it has personally helped for me. It really helps me just to center and focus back on myself and not forget about the things I love. My 4th tip is to clean something. I know that sometimes cleaning feels like a huge chore and it feels extremely hard to do, especially when you're super depressed. But I promise you, if you just pick one little thing to clean, you will feel so much better about yourself when it finally gets done. For example, I needed to reorganize my baby's closet and do his laundry, but it just felt like such a big task to tackle when I was dealing with all my own thoughts and things going on in my life. But I finally did it a couple days ago and it feels so amazing to have that done, and it just makes me feel like a huge weight is lifted off my shoulders. I don't have to worry about it anymore. And every time I go into his closet now, I just feel happy knowing that I did that and I finally tackled it and got it done. If I'm feeling a little less motivated or I'm just going through a really tough time, what I will do is I will pick a task that I want to do and I will film myself doing it. This will not work if you aren't a social media content creator, but if you do create content, this is one of the perfect ways to not only get a video idea in, but also a way to get your task done. You can take one of your simple or boring tasks and turn it into a video. They say that everything is content, and they are truly right, because I made a video last week about doing my baby's laundry. And you would think, oh, nobody wants to see a video of me doing laundry, or oh, my house isn't aesthetic enough, but I just did it and it's one of my best videos to date. As long as you can create a good storyline, then you can take all your simple boring tasks and turn them into something cool. Honestly, doing these videos has really saved me from my house becoming a disaster, because I do a weekly room cleaning video, I do a weekly bathroom cleaning video, I do organization videos, and it's content, but it also helps me to just get tasks done without letting them pile up. There's also that saying about having a clear space equals a clear mind, and I really truly believe that. It's just something about when I have my room clean, when I have fresh sheets, when everything is put together, my life feels more put together. So if you've been slacking on some of the chores or household duties, then go ahead right now after this video and go pick one and do it, and I promise you will feel a lot better. My 5th and last tip is, if nothing else is working, if you just cannot seem to shake these feelings, then please don't be afraid to try out medicine. A lot of people are against going on medicines to help with their mental health. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I am a little leery myself of getting on medications, just because I've had some bad reactions to a lot of them in the past. And what I'm about to say next is gonna be very vulnerable. So what's that trend right now? It's like we listen and we don't judge. Yeah, I expect y'all to listen and not judge. One of my new anxiety things that I've had recently is actually about medicine, and I'm terrified of medicine right now. I'm always scared that even if it's a medicine I've taken before, that I'm just gonna randomly develop an allergic. Okay, I am actually terrified that I'm going to take a medicine, and even if it's one I've taken millions of times before, I'm scared that I'm going to suddenly become allergic to it and then I'm going to die or something like that. I'm also just really nervous about any side effects it might give me. But I am actively trying to work past those fears, because I would like to take medicine for these problems in the future, because I just sometimes feel like I need it. If you just don't want to take medicine though because of the stigma around it, I just want to say, please don't worry about that, because there should not be any shame in having to take medicine for your mental health. People get sick with a cold, they take medicine. People have heart problems, blood pressure problems, pain, etc. They take medicine. So we have problems with our brain, so we have to take medicine, and it's no different than any of the other things I just mentioned. So if you're currently taking medicine but you feel ashamed about it, or you want to take medicine but you're feeling ashamed about it, I'm just here to say that please don't, because like I said, people take medicines for all kinds of things, and this is no different. If taking that medicine is what is going to help us take care of ourselves and help us to feel better, then we really should not feel any shame about it. And I hate that mental health is so stigmatized, which is one of the reasons why I love making videos like this and talking about it. And I know that by making this video, I'm opening myself up to a lot of judgment. There's going to be a lot of people who come across this video who might not understand anything about this. There's going to be people who are going to judge. They've never been through it. They don't understand. And I totally get that. If you've never gone through it, it is really hard to understand sometimes. But all that being said, I don't care about any of that, because this video is not made for them. This video is made for you guys watching who want to get better and you want to make a better life for yourself and your family. You don't want your mental health to take over and win. You don't want it to get any worse than it already is. You finally want to start healing and free yourself from the struggles that mental health can cause. And you guys are who this video is for. So that is it for this week's video. I hope that you guys found these tips and tricks helpful. Like I was saying earlier, if you have any other tips and tricks that you'd like to share of your own, then please feel free to comment below so we can all help and support each other. If you are dealing with any mental health problems, then just know that I am here for you. I love you guys, and I hope that you guys as well are here for each other. Before I end this video, I just want to get serious and say that if you are having any active thoughts of wanting to hurt yourself or harm others, then please seek out help. I want you guys to get all the help that you guys need, and I would miss you if that happened, okay? I love you. I also have included a number right here. This is the suicide hotline number. I've called them a couple times when I was younger, and it really did help at the time because it just kind of calmed me down and helped me get out of that crisis moment. If you live with somebody else and you are worried about them hearing you talk on the phone, then there is a texting version. I'm going to leave both of those numbers in the description box below. I have used them both, and they really honestly have helped me, and I really recommend them if you are going through an active crisis. I love you guys all so much, and don't forget to subscribe and like this video and hit the post notification bell because I post a new video every single Sunday. Don't forget to also follow me on all my social medias. My handles are going to be at the end of this video as well as linked in the description box below. And to all my fellow moms out there, you are doing great. I love you, and please don't give up, okay? You got this. If you guys ever need to talk, then please feel free to message me on my Instagram DM, and I will do my best to answer your questions or talk to you guys. Please keep in mind though that I am not an active therapist. I'm not licensed in any way for mental health. So if you are really struggling or you're going through an active crisis, then instead of texting me, I would really recommend texting one of those numbers or calling one of those numbers, or just setting yourself up an appointment with a therapist. But anyways, I love you all so much, and I will see you guys next Sunday. Bye. I really want to show you off.